In a quiet village, 10-year-old Ikenta finds a mysterious, glinting ring in the dust while on a simple errand for his mother. Slipping it onto his finger, he's thrilled by its perfect fit, but his excitement turns to terror when everyone, from shopkeepers to his own parents, acts as if he's invisible. As Ikenta's desperate cries go unheard and unseen, his mother and father frantically search for their missing son, unaware he's right beside them. What dark secret does this strange ring hold? And will Ikenta ever be seen again? Dive into a gripping tale of mystery and discovery that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Ikenta, a 10-year-old boy, lived with his parents in a modest home. One afternoon, he was outside, playing with a stick. He enjoyed sketching lines in the sand, imagining himself as a mighty warrior. His mother, Goy, called out from inside the house. "Ita," she yelled, "come here." I dropped his stick and hurriedly dashed inside. "Yes, Mommy," he replied, catching his breath. Goy gestured toward a small wooden table. "Take 200 naira from there," she directed. "Go to Mama Ajay's shop and get the usual pepper soup spices I buy, plus Maggie for 15 naira. Hurry back." "Got it." I nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, Mommy," he said with a bright smile. He grabbed the money, tucked it securely in his pocket, and ran out the door. The sun blazed outside. As he briskly walked along the dusty trail to Mama Ajay's shop, he hummed a tune. Suddenly, a glint on the ground caught his attention. He paused and crouched down. It was a small, shiny ring in the dirt, appearing golden but worn and dusty. Without much thought, I picked it up. He held it to the sunlight. "Amazing," he murmured. He slipped it onto his finger. It felt cool and fit perfectly. Grinning with excitement, he wiped the dirt off his hands onto his shorts and continued to the shop. At Mama Ajay's stall, he saw her organizing items on a wooden table. Baskets of spices, tomatoes, peppers, and Maggi cubes were neatly arranged. Ikenta smiled widely and greeted her loudly. "Good afternoon, Auntie," he called out. Mama Ajay didn't glance his way, focused on arranging her baskets. "Auntie, I need the pepper soup spices my mommy always gets and Maggie for 15 naira, he stated clearly. But Mama Ajay didn't respond. I blinked, puzzled. "Auntie," he called louder. She still didn't turn, acting as if he wasn't there. Confused, I stepped closer. "Auntie, I want to buy something," he said firmly, nearly at her side. Yet Mama Ajay kept sorting her goods in silence, ignoring him completely. Anger welled up in Ai's chest. "What's her problem?" he thought. "Why is she acting like I'm not here?" He spun around and stormed off. "I'll go to Uncle Yakubu's shop instead," he grumbled. He trudged down the street, dust kicking up under his feet. Soon, he arrived at Uncle Yakubu's small store. Uncle Yakubu sat behind the counter, counting coins and chatting with a customer. I felt a wave of relief. "Good afternoon, Uncle Yakubu," he greeted. But Yakubu didn't look up. I frowned. "Uncle, I need Maggie and pepper soup spices," he repeated. Yakubu kept talking to the customer, oblivious to him. A mix of confusion and fear hit Uncle Yakubu, he shouted. No response. No one even glanced at him. I's heart raced. Why is everyone acting like I'm invisible? He waved his hands in front of Yakubu's face, but the man didn't react. I's throat tightened. He turned and walked away slowly, glancing back. Yakubu was still chatting and smiling with the customer, as if I didn't exist. As he walked down the street, tears welled in I's eyes. Why can't anyone hear me? Why can't they see me? He called out to passers-by, but no one stopped or looked. I felt utterly alone, scared, and confused. He wiped his tears with his hand. He longed to run home to his mother and explain everything. But a chilling fear gripped him. Something's terribly wrong, he thought. Clutching the money in his pocket, the ring still on his finger, I sprinted home as fast as he could. At home, his mother grew increasingly irritated. She stood in the smoky kitchen, stirring a pot over the fire. The soup bubbled, steam rising to her face. She wiped her forehead and scowled. "What's taking that boy so long?" she muttered under her breath. Mama Ajay's shop is just 3 houses away. She grabbed a large wooden spoon and stirred vigorously, her movements sharp. The aroma of peppers and spices filled the kitchen, but it only fueled her frustration. She glanced at the door for the 10th time in 5 minutes. He should be back by now, she thought. How long does it take to buy spices and Maggie? She listened for footsteps or his voice calling, "Mommy, I'm back." But there was only silence. Goy's anger burned hotter than the fire. She slammed the pot's lid down and switched off the stove with a sharp click. "That's it," she snapped aloud. She adjusted her wrapper, tying it tightly, and stormed outside, her slippers slapping the cement floor. Squinting against the bright sun, she scanned the narrow, dusty street. Children played nearby, shouting and laughing. Women carried water basins or peeled vegetables outside their homes. But Ikenna was nowhere in sight. "That boy's in trouble today," she vowed silently, her jaw clenched. She marched toward Mama Ajay's shop with determined strides. At the shop, she forced a tight smile, her voice laced with worry. "Good afternoon," she said stiffly. "Good afternoon," Mama Ajay replied warmly, turning from her goods. "Mama Ajay, please, didn't Ikenna come here? I sent him for pepper soup spices and Maggie." Mama Ajay blinked, surprised. "No, I haven't seen him today," she said calmly, gesturing to her baskets. "I've been here all morning arranging these. Maybe you went elsewhere." Goy's stomach sank. "Another shop?" she echoed, her voice trembling. "He knows to come to you. I told him." She turned away abruptly, heart pounding. Her wrapper fluttered as she walked. She scanned the street again, fear now mixing with her anger. "Where's that boy?" she whispered. She searched the narrow street, peeking into other shops. She asked a woman washing clothes in a basin, "Have you seen Ikenna?" "No, I haven't," the woman replied, shaking her head. Goy's breathing grew uneven. "This boy will drive me crazy today." Meanwhile, I was right there on the street. He saw his mother pacing, her eyes flashing with anger and fear. Relief washed over him, and he ran toward her. "Mommy, Mommy," he shouted. "I'm here." Mama Ajay wouldn't sell to me. Uncle Yakubu and Auntie Chica ignore me too. He waved his arms frantically, but Goy didn't look at him. Her eyes scanned past him, searching the road. She looked worried, but acted as if he wasn't there. Ai's smile faded. "Mommy, please look at me," he pleaded, running in front of her. She didn't stop. It was as if he was invisible. Ai slowed, following her sadly, tears stinging his eyes. His feet dragged in the dirt, shoulders slumped. He called out softly, voice breaking, "Mommy, why can't you hear me? I'm right here." Goy didn't hear him. She hurried to a nearby field where children played football. She waved, and they stopped. "Did Ikenna come here?" she asked loudly, voice anxious. "No, Ma," an older boy replied, wiping sweat from his face. "Is he hiding somewhere?" she pressed. The children shook their heads. "No, Ma, he wasn't here," another said. Ikenna stood beside his mother, sobbing. "Mommy, I'm here," he yelled. "Why are you asking them?" "I'm right here." But no one responded or looked. His mother didn't glance his way. I wiped his tears with dirty fingers, heartbroken. He felt utterly alone. He stood in the hot sun, watching his mother walk away, calling his name, unaware he was beside her. I swallowed, throat dry. Why can't she see or hear me? He followed her slowly, barefoot, silent in the dust. I trailed his mother home quietly. She marched along the dusty road, her wrapper flapping. She didn't speak or glance at him. At Mama Ajay's shop again, she went straight to the table, pointed at the usual spices, and handed over money. "Give me my spices," she said firmly. Mama Ajay packed the spices and Maggie and handed them over. Goy didn't smile or thank her. She grabbed the items and headed home, her face tight with anger. Ikenna followed silently, feeling confused and hurt. Why is she ignoring me? He wondered. Is she pretending or really angry? At their compound, Goy didn't pause at the door. She went straight to the kitchen to cook. I lingered outside, feeling odd. The peppery soup scent drifted from the kitchen window, but it didn't comfort him. He sat on a low bench outside, picked up his stick, and poked lines in the sand. It wasn't fun anymore. His chest tightened. Maybe Mommy's pretending like everyone else, he thought bitterly. Maybe she's mad I didn't return quickly. He drew circles in the dirt, pressing hard until the stick snapped. He tossed it away angrily, wiping his sweaty face. Tears welled up, but he blinked them back, not wanting to cry where someone might see, even if no one could. Finally, he walked inside slowly. He peeked at the kitchen, but didn't enter. He heard his mother banging pots, stirring roughly, the spoon clanging like she was hitting something. He shivered, knowing she was furious. He tiptoed past the kitchen to his small room. His bed was narrow, close to the floor. He lay down, curling up, eyes fixed on the door, heart racing. What if she comes to punish me? He worried, imagining her with a cane, shouting his name. He pulled his knees closer, holding his breath, but no one came. The house was quiet except for the distant clatter of cooking. I exhaled slowly, blinking sleepily. His eyelids grew heavy, but he fought to stay alert, fearing she'd barge in. Eventually, exhaustion won, and he fell asleep, facing the door, still scared. In his dream, his mother stood with a cane, but her eyes didn't see him. Soon after, Ai's father, Ina, came home from work, tired and dusty. Entering the compound, he saw Goy on the bench, her face stern, eyes glaring, holding a cane she tapped on the ground. Ina frowned. "Welcome," he said cautiously, keeping his tone calm. "What's wrong?" Goy glared at him. "It's been over an hour since I sent Ai to buy something, and he's not back," she snapped, her voice trembling with worry and anger. Ina's chest tightened, but he stayed calm. "Did you check the field?" he asked. "Yes," she replied sharply, voice rising. "The kids said they didn't see him." Ina's face darkened. Without another word, he went inside, quickly washed his face and hands, changed clothes, and stormed back out, eyes cold and determined to find his son. Ina rushed out, worry and anger burning inside. He strode down the dusty neighborhood path, slippers slapping loudly. Unlike usual, he didn't greet anyone politely. He went straight to a neighbor's house. "Good evening," he said sharply. "Have you seen my son, Ikinta? He went to buy something and hasn't returned." The neighbor, an old man on a stool, looked surprised, scratching his head. "I haven't seen him today," he said honestly. Ina's eyes narrowed in frustration. "Thank you," he muttered, turning away without small talk. He hurried to another house. "Good evening. Did Ikinta pass by?" "No," a woman nursing a baby replied, shaking her head. Ina swallowed hard, fists clenched. He moved on, entering shops, pushing aside cloth doorways. "Please, my son Ikinta, did you see him? He's missing." Shopkeepers shook their heads, some concerned, others confused. Ina's voice grew hoarse from repeating, "Are you sure? No small boy passed here." "No, Ina, we didn't see him," they said. Sweat dripped down his back as he breathed heavily. He wiped his face, exhaling shakily. He checked alleys and corners where kids played hide and seek, calling, "Ikinta, Ikinta." No answer came. As evening fell, shadows lengthened. The sky turned orange and purple. Chickens returned to coops, and lamps glowed in windows. Ina's feet ached, but he kept searching, asking everyone, but no one had seen Ikinta. At last, with the sun nearly gone, Ina headed home, heart heavy, anger simmering. He pushed the door open roughly and entered. Goy sat in the living room, head in her hands. She looked up as he entered, eyes red and tired. Ina sat heavily beside her, breathing unevenly. "If that boy returns," he said in a low, threatening tone, "I'll teach him a lesson he won't forget." Goy didn't respond, just stared at him silently. The room was quiet, the kitchen fire cold. In his room, Ai stirred, waking slowly in dim light. His stomach ached with hunger. Rubbing his eyes, he sighed tiredly and sat up on his thin mat. He dragged himself to the living room doorway, seeing his parents looking angry and sad. He stepped forward cautiously. "Mommy," he said softly, voice cracking, "I'm hungry." Goy didn't move, staring at the floor as if he hadn't spoken. Ai swallowed, stepping toward his father. "Daddy," he pleaded, tears in his eyes, "I want to eat." Ina didn't look up or react. Ai's lip trembled, knees weak. He sat on the floor, hugging himself, tears streaming. "I'm hungry," he whispered repeatedly, but no one saw or heard him. He cried until his voice was hoarse, rocking back and forth, hoping they'd notice, but they didn't. Outside, the sky darkened. Silence weighed heavily in the room. By 9 p.m., Goy looked up, eyes wide with fear, not anger. She turned to Ina, lips trembling. "I'm terrified," she whispered, voice breaking. Something terrible might have happened. She cried openly, wiping tears with her wrapper. Ina looked away, jaw tight, eyes wet. Their son was missing, and they were helpless. Ina sat in the living room, face tense, eyes burning with worry. He spoke roughly. "Go to the police and report it," he told Goy firmly. "I'll go to the vigilante." Goy's heart pounded, making her dizzy. Hands shaking, she wiped her face with her wrapper, nodded, and rushed outside. The air was heavy, the street quiet except for a distant dog barking. Lifting her wrapper, she hurried, slippers scraping the ground. Her mind raced with fears. Where's Ikenta? Is he lost? Taken? Tears welled, but she blinked them back. I must be strong. She reached the small police station, its blue walls dim under a flickering bulb. She pushed the wooden door open shakily. Inside, a creaky desk held scattered papers, lit by a single bulb, the air smelling of old wood and dust. Inspector Chinadu, a middle-aged man with kind but tired eyes, sat behind the desk. Goy stumbled forward, breathless. "Good evening, sir," she gasped, voice cracking. Chinadu sat up, seeing her fear. "Good evening, madam. Sit. What's wrong?" Goy didn't sit, clasping her hands and speaking fast, nearly choking. "Please, sir, my son and I went to buy pepper soup spices and Maggie this afternoon. Mama Ajay's shop is 3 houses away. He hasn't returned. I looked everywhere. He's gone." Her voice broke, tears flowing. Chinadu leaned forward, serious. "Calm down, madam. Breathe. Tell me what happened." Goy wiped her tears and explained slowly. When she sent Ikenta, how long he'd been gone, and that no one saw him. Chinadu nodded, taking notes in a brown notebook, asking, "What time did he leave? Was he alone? What was he wearing?" Goy answered, voice shaky. Chinadu set down his pen, looking at her. "Madam," he said gently, "I understand. Don't worry. I'll do everything to find your son." Goy felt slight relief. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. He nodded. "Go home. We'll start now." Goy thanked him, voice hoarse, and left. The cool night air dried her cheeks, but her heart remained heavy. She hurried home to tell Ina. Meanwhile, the village vigilante group was alerted. Their leader, Ozo Emina, a tall man with sharp eyes, disliked trouble in his area. He gathered his men, who lit lanterns and split into groups, knocking on doors. "Have you seen a small, 10-year-old boy?" Most shook their heads. "No, not today." Some asked what happened, alarmed. Emina's voice was calm but firm. "He went to buy something and didn't return. We must find him." They checked shops and compounds. At Mama Ajay's stall, she was packing up. Emina raised his lantern. "Mama Ajay, did I come today?" She frowned. "I haven't seen him," she said slowly. "I told his mother. Maybe he went elsewhere." Emina nodded, unconvinced. "Thank you," he said, signaling his men to move on. They searched late, lanterns flickering like fireflies. At the police station, Chinadu sat at his desk, frowning, tapping his pen. He reread Goy's statement. The shop's so close. It's odd he vanished, he thought grimly. He stood, calling his officers. "Get ready," he ordered. "We're going to investigate." They nodded, and he took a deep breath. They had to find the boy. Chinadu and his team walked to Mama Ajay's shop, footsteps crunching. A dim lantern cast shaky shadows. Mama Ajay looked up, squinting. "Good evening, officers," she said wearily, dusting her hands. Chinadu nodded, serious. "Mama Ajay, did you see I today?" "The missing boy." She sighed, shaking her head. "I told you, I haven't seen him," she insisted, voice trembling slightly. Chinadu pressed, "Be sure. His parents said he always comes here." "I know," she said quickly, "but I didn't see him. I was busy all day." The officers exchanged skeptical looks. Chinadu signaled them. "Search around," he said quietly. They checked behind the stall, alleys, and dark corners, finding nothing. Chinadu turned to Mama Ajay. "If you recall anything, tell us immediately," he said sternly. She nodded, avoiding his gaze. "I will," she mumbled, clutching her wrapper. Back home, Ina sat in the living room, lamp flickering, shadows dancing on cracked walls. He sat hunched, staring at the floor, face like stone. Goy sat beside him, head in hands, rocking, tears dripping onto her wrapper. "It's been hours," she wept, voice raw. "Every second feels endless." She wiped her nose. "I shouldn't have sent him," she whispered, sobbing. "It's my fault." Ina looked at her, eyes bloodshot. "It's not your fault," he said softly, voice heavy. "You couldn't know." His face twisted in pain, fists clenched against tears. They sat in stifling silence, wind rattling the roof, dogs barking outside, hearts pounding. Ikenna was there, on the floor, face streaked with tear dust, eyes swollen. He was starving, stomach cramping. He didn't speak, just watched his parents sadly. He wanted to hug his mother, sit on his father's lap, but knew they wouldn't see or hear him. He bit his lip to stop crying. Then he noticed his hand, the ring, glinting in the dim light. He stared, scared. "Is this why I'm invisible?" He yanked it off quickly. Instantly, the room brightened. He felt solid again, the floor firm beneath him. His parents screamed in shock. "Ikenna!" Goy shrieked, jumping up, eyes wild. Ina stumbled back from his chair. "Mommy!" I cried, tears streaming, reaching out. Ina's voice boomed. "How did you get here?" I sobbed, barely able to speak. "I've been here," he cried. "No one saw or heard me." He hiccuped, wiping his eyes. His parents stared, horrified and confused, hearts pounding. Their son was there, but they didn't understand how. Ina, eyes wide with anger and confusion, demanded, "What do you mean you've been here? Where were you, I?" I cried, face wet, nose running, wiping it with his hand. "I went to Mama Ajaik's," he said, voice shaking. "She ignored me. Uncle Yakubu, too. Even Mommy didn't see me on the road." Goy covered her mouth, eyes shocked. Ina stepped closer, holding out his hand. "Give me the ring," he said firmly. I froze, looking at the heavy, scary ring. He placed it in Ina's hand. Ina examined it, squinting at strange symbols etched on it, unlike any writing he knew. "This isn't normal," he said gravely. Goy shook her head frantically. "Throw it away." "It's evil," she shouted, hands trembling. A loud knock came at the door. Knock, knock, knock. The room fell silent except for their breathing. Ina tucked the ring in his fist. Goy wiped her eyes, straightening her wrapper. Ina opened the door to Inspector Chinadu and two officers, their torches casting shadows. Chinadu scanned the room, stepping back when he saw Ikenna. "You found him?" he asked, shocked. Goy sobbed, hugging Ai tightly. "Yes, Inspector," she cried. "It's this ring." She pointed at Ina's hand. Chinadu's eyes narrowed. "Show me," he said firmly. Ina handed it over. Chinadu examined the symbols grimly. Ina explained quickly. "I found it, wore it, and became invisible until he removed it." Chinadu's face darkened as he listened. When Ina finished, silence hung heavy. Chinadu exhaled slowly. "This matches a ring from a robbery case," he said. Sergeant F. Fanny nodded. "Yes, sir. A criminal we arrested had one like it. Said it made him invisible, bypassing cameras and guards." The room went quiet. I stopped sniffling. Ina paled, lips trembling. "My son found a criminal's ring?" he asked hoarsely. "Possibly," Chinadu said carefully. "They may have ditched it after the arrest." Goy shivered, holding Ai tighter. "What do we do?" she asked, voice small. Chinadu pulled out an evidence bag. "We'll take it to the station," he said firmly. "It's evidence. It could be dangerous if misused. We'll investigate." Ina and Goy nodded, relieved but shaken. After the police left, the house felt heavy. The next morning, Goy set Ai on his bed. "Ikenna," she said gently, "never pick up anything from the ground again, no matter how safe it seems." Ai's eyes showed regret. "I promise, Mommy," he whispered. At school, Principal Mrs. Enmelum addressed the students. "Good morning," she said gravely. "Yesterday, a student found a dangerous ring on the ground. Never pick up unknown objects, no matter how nice they look. Tell an adult. Stay safe." The students listened intently. Ai's ordeal became a neighborhood warning. Don't take what isn't yours. You never know the danger it holds. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories.